Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to the channel. Oh, man. What a day. What a day it was in the markets. If you watched the video yesterday, I told you that I swung puts and calls as a hedge, and my main position being puts. Because we are trading under the assumption currently that there was going to be a cross, or at least a meeting point for the apex of this big bold red downtrend here and this big bold green uptrend here. I was swinging the calls thinking that it was going to be like a shoulder kind of move, right? Like this was going to be like kind of your like first shoulder, head, and then I was going to get like another shoulder here at open, and then it was going to start to swing down and then start to target this region, which is the what is this, 38.35 on ES1 futures over the course of the next few days going into like Thursday, Friday date range. Fortunately for me, instead, you absolutely had this crazy rocket up as a result of the PPI report beating expectations, and stuck to my plan, and I closed my calls immediately, up hundreds of percent, which I was not expecting at all. And puts still in relatively good shape. I do have some time on them, so still held up pretty good. And I took some of the call profits and I rolled them into puts a little bit, but the calls more than paid for my position. So sometimes you get lucky. I was willing for I was totally down for the calls to just be worthless, because that would have meant that my puts were probably doing pretty good. But it worked out overall. And then through the course of today, you just had this incredibly slow sideways sort of action during the first few hours of the session. The first 3 hours or so, Simba pays a visit to the video. He's right underneath the camera. And I'm not gonna lie, man. When this was, you can go back and look at my tweets on Twitter. When this was happening, I was like, this does look relatively accumulative. I mean, you could see kind of another leg up before you ultimately have whatever is going to cause. Again, like I've been saying, I don't know what news is going to cause or whatever is going to cause a relatively large run, because we really do. I mean, at this point, we really do would have needed a pretty significant move, right? We need another 4.7%, 4.5%, 5%, to get to our price target by Friday. And I mean, that's a big ask in S&P 500, right? And then suddenly the news comes out that that there were missiles in Poland, and then there was extra news or whatever. But anyway, you just jumped off of an absolute cliff. And let's see exactly how fast that move was. You dropped here 1.3% in a matter of 40 minutes. So really, really big move. And then you bounced right back up. And I'm not going to lie, I'm a little freaked out. All right, about the whole getting down here to 38.30 by Friday. Again, I mean, I've been relatively freaked out the whole time. To me, it makes a lot of sense. The convergence of two trend lines in this way has historically worked really well for us. As well, we are really overextended from any sort of uptrend within any S&P chart. I mean, we are like, I have this trend line drawn here that I added, but I mean, this is a resistance trend, and I mean, you haven't really confirmed over it. It looks like you're getting a nice little move here. Now, I wouldn't be surprised to see this complete a retracement, or I mean, the point 0.5 has been pretty powerful lately, but up to 4024.25 on futures. But I still see this as distribution. I see this move up here as an upthrust after distribution, and what you're in right now is an LPSY. And I have to say that my overall conviction is that it does still make sense to see this big move. You were just so far away. You've been so far away from this uptrend for such a long time, and you're just hanging out up here. There's no supporting volume for higher moves or anything. It's just hard for it doesn't make sense to. And look, I'm not saying that every move has to make sense, but what I am saying is this is like, one of those things where it just looks like it wants to pull back and retrace this move, right? So pull a fib. And your 707, which has been our key level throughout, is right there at the apex. I mean, it makes too much sense, guys. So look, I got shaken. I'm not going to lie. If you follow me on Twitter, you saw I was sitting there looking at the chart because I'm really into this now, like this particular play, because I think that calling for this move is so outlandish and ridiculous, but at the same time makes so much sense technically that I really I'm like hanging on the edge of my seat, even though the position's not like the biggest position in the world to me. It's more of like, is it really possible for me to call for a 5% move within like 3 days on the biggest index in the world? Like, it's almost like a game to me at this point. And I mean, I was sitting there just watching, and I never do that. I never ever just sit there and watch. I check in. Maybe I'll spend like 30 minutes really putting out a lot of charts or giving a lot of takes, sometimes on Twitter. But I mean, I was in all day, and I got exhausted, man. I'm not gonna lie. I got like mentally drained by it, and I think that like it made me, when we had that bounce, it shook me out a little bit, and I was like, oh, man, we started breaking these downtrends, these local downtrends and stuff, and I was like, man, like I can't responsibly hold. And like I remember specifically breaking this one here. It was like this kind of like we broke here. No, it was one of these, but basically we broke the trend, and then immediately, like, I was like, I'm getting out of the puts. And then immediately it started like dumping again, and I'm just like, yeah, dude, I'm like out of my headspace. So what I decided to do was, when it went back up again for this move up here, I re-entered, because I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I took profits when this was happening, because it's just so volatile. The implied volatility is way too valuable not to take advantage of. But I got out, and then I jumped right back in. It looks like that right now. That looks like a pretty bad idea. But again, I'm pretty confident that what's going to end up happening is you're going to have a retracement here. Maybe you get way up here. Future's really green. And then I think that price continues to roll over. And it's not financial advice. Like I said yesterday, you can lose literally everything playing these options games. And again, what I have in this position, I am completely willing to lose. Like I do not swing SPY options unless I'm willing to lose everything. Because I mean, you can't sell until market opens. I mean, it's too risky to hold on to if you're not willing to lose. So just keep that in mind. But it looks like you're gonna open green here, so probably gapped up on SPY. And then we're gonna see. I'm expecting sort of go to a lower time frame here. I'm expecting sort of like, by the time you get to open tomorrow, you're just kind of floating like this, and then maybe at open you get some of that volatility back, and then we'll start to make our way down. Overall, this just looks like it's hanging relatively high within its range. yeah, you have a few spikes down for like a reaccumulation sort of move. But I mean, even within those, it's so choppy and spiky. This one's really the like the strongest move for sure. Um, I just can't. I'm not convinced that you're going to continue upward here just yet. But I could be 100% wrong. I could be reading this all the wrong way because I'm so kind of focused on this level. And maybe this is rounding out well enough for you to build up enough momentum and then go make your test of the long term downtrend in the next few weeks. By the way, I still am bullish. Like on a more macro, like the next few months after this move, I still am bullish and am expecting some explosive move back up to test this downtrend before you see lower lows here. I still am thinking that that's what's going to happen, but I think that it'll be way more healthy if you're able to build up in this sort of way rather than if you were to just like kind of swing up from here. Just because you just don't have the type of momentum that you would have if you kind of held lower down on this trend line, and then that gives you a better opportunity to break through. If not the first time, but maybe you retrace, and then you can have that kind of second win bring you through. Not to say that couldn't happen here. It's just way more unhealthy, and you have all of this liquidity that's like unfilled and untraded. That it's gonna people like. Institutions want to come back and retrade these sorts of zones that are kind of left behind when you have a big move like that. That's just a tendency that you see in a lot of these charts. So that's kind of what I'm banking on. Again, not financial advice. Don't freaking tweet me crying because you lost money on your puts or whatever. Because I was calling for this move and it didn't happen or whatever. That's your responsibility. You're a big boy or girl. You should handle your money and not do what people on YouTube or Twitter say. No matter how accurate or whatever they've been, you have to come to your own conclusions. Do your own thing. I'm just here to show you my methodology, show you how I'm coming to conclusions, and then you use that as your context to navigate the market on your own. With that being said, I know it's really late. I'm going to upload this video, and I'm going to go to bed. You have a good night. Oh, I said I would have a song, but I didn't prepare a song. I didn't write a note. I didn't say what to do. I'm coming out of my cage and I've been doing just fine. Gotta be down because I want it all. It started out with a kiss. How did it ended up like this? It was only a kiss. Now I'm going to sleep. And she's calling a cab while he's having a smoke. And she's taking a drag. And I'm going to bed. And my stomach is sick. And it's all in my head. But she's touching his chest. My fiance opened the door while I'm in the middle of singing Mr. Brightside in this extremely monotone. Are you there still, babe? I think I see your feet. Anyway, all right, have a good night. I'm not going to make a thumbnail or anything. Peace.